My parents, the emotional vampires that they are, gave my 8-year-old Lily a broken plastic horse for New Year's, from a bargain bin with one leg snapped off. Then my dad announced in front of everyone, "She's the unfavorite granddaughter. The real presents are for your cousins." Lily burst into tears. Everybody laughed. 20 minutes later, I gave them a present they're still choking on. My parents have always made the family hierarchy painfully clear. My sister Melissa and her twin boys, golden children. My brother Daniel, acceptable, as long as he keeps his head down and agrees with them. Me? I'm the workhorse. Come early, Aaron. Cover the front desk, Aaron. Clean up the mess at the office when we're too tired to lift a finger, Aaron. But when it comes to love and actual respect, suddenly there's a long line. I'm at the very end, if I'm even in the building. Lily isn't in that line at all. As far as they're concerned, she barely qualifies as a grandchild, just a prop. And yet, I'm a chronic optimist, the dumb kind. This year, I told myself, might finally be different. My parents are getting older. Their health has started to wobble. Maybe it would finally click that they'd blown off 6 of Lily's birthdays in a row. At least they could make her happy for New Year's. We have this family tradition. Gifts on New Year's Day, not Christmas. Don't ask. Some people ski, some people watch football. My parents do carefully choreographed emotional damage. Lily, I told her, we're going to Grandma and Grandpa's for New Year's. She literally jumped, spent 2 days picking out a dress, printed a photo of her and my dad from last summer when he let her hold his fishing rod on the river and even smiled like a human. She still tells that story like it was a fairy tale. On January 1st, we showed up early, presents in hand, like good little relatives. I knew it was a mistake within 10 seconds. The house looked like a sporting goods catalog had exploded. Lights everywhere, decorations, a fake tree that could have hosted its own NFL halftime show. My mom was smiling so hard her face looked frozen. Melissa already had her phone out, filming everything for her Instagram stories. The twins, Connor and Ethan, were parked in front of a mountain of gifts, vibrating like they were at Disneyland. Lily? Completely invisible. No hi. No Happy New Year. No hug. Nothing. She pressed herself into my side on the edge of the couch, clutching the photo in a little homemade frame, waiting. Then the present parade started. The nephews got everything. Brand new tablets, shiny bikes, name brand sneakers, art sets with their names printed on them. Even Buddy, the family husky mix, got a big bag of treats from the pet store. Lily sat and watched, polite like I'd taught her, and my insides boiled. Why did I let her hope? Finally, my mom reached under the tree and pulled out a sad, crumpled paper bag that looked like it had been stepped on half torn, tape barely holding. She stared at it like she didn't remember wrapping it, then silently handed it to Lily. Inside was a cheap plastic horse from some dollar store dump bin. One leg snapped clean off, scratched up on the side, and someone had scribbled on it with permanent marker. Letters, doodles, who knows. It looked exactly like something you'd grab off a flea market tarp for a quarter. Lily stared at the horse. Didn't say a word. That's when my dad, already half buzzed, smirked and announced loud enough for the whole room, "She's the unfavorite one. The real presents are for your cousins." And the room howled. Adults. Kids. Melissa practically glowed with satisfaction. My mom didn't even twitch an eyebrow. Just went back to handing gifts to the real grandkids. Lily's eyes filled instantly. She tried so hard to hold it in. Couldn't. Covered her little face with both hands and started sobbing. I froze for 1 second. Not because I didn't care. Because something inside me clicked into place. Rage, shame, and this sharp, icy clarity all at once. Daniel shot to his feet. "This is disgusting," he snapped. "You're humiliating a child in front of everyone." They'd completely lost it by then. My dad barked, Sit down and shut up. Melissa rolled her eyes. I took Lily into the hallway to calm her down. She kept whispering through hiccups. Maybe it's a mistake? Maybe my real present is in another room? No, sweetheart, I said quietly. That's it. She cried harder. That was it for me too. No more pretending this was just how family is. No more, they're old school, they don't mean it. Enough. About 20 minutes later, the laughter in the living room had faded to lazy small talk. Melissa was glued to her phone, posting proof of the perfect family holiday. My mom was cutting cake. Everyone was comfortable again. I walked back in, calm, went straight to the tree, carefully picked up the 2 expensive gifts I'd brought for my parents. The kind of thoughtful presents adult kids buy when they're still hoping to earn a little affection, and put them back into their bags my dad noticed first. "What are you doing?" he asked. I looked at all of them, even the kids, who were staring now, sensing a storm. "I hope you enjoyed your little show," I said, "because I've got a New Year's gift for you too." You could have heard a pin drop. "I'm done working for you." At first they honestly thought I was joking. My dad gave a nervous laugh. My mom watched me like some seasoned community psychologist, confident I'd calm down in a minute. Melissa rolled her eyes, leaned over to whisper something to her husband Eric, and reached for a second slice of cake. So I laid it out. "I've been preparing all year," I told them, "taking classes, building contacts. Last week, my investor, Natalie Graham from Chicago, signed the term sheet. I'm launching my own company, not in some far-off niche, right in yours 2 blocks from your office. Direct competition. And we're doing everything by the book. Transparent structure, white paper payroll, no shady schemes, no nepotism, and definitely no humiliation as parenting." All these years, I'd been watching, learning. They thought I was just their overworked insurance mule, their free safety net. My dad stopped smiling. He pushed back from the table and stood. "Do you have any idea what you're getting into?" he asked. "You don't have the guts for this." My mom went pale. "Why would you do this to us?" she whispered. "What kind of daughter betrays her own family?" "It's pretty simple," I said. "You don't treat me like a daughter, and you sure don't treat Lily like a granddaughter. I'm not betraying a family. I'm getting away from a fire you've been feeding for years." Melissa exploded. "You've always been jealous," she hissed. "You hate that my boys are more successful than your kid." "Successful?" I repeated. "They're 8. They get tablets just for existing. Lily made you a picture frame with her own hands. And what did you do? You used it as a backdrop while you humiliated her in front of everyone, and I'm supposed to be jealous of that?" Daniel had heard enough. He came over, picked Lily up from where she was standing in the hallway clutching that broken horse, trying not to cry. "Come on, kiddo," he told her. "Let's go upstairs, make hot chocolate, and play Monopoly. We'll have a real holiday up there." Before he went, he met my eyes. "You're doing the right thing," he said quietly. "Should have happened a long time ago." Downstairs, my parents completely lost it. My dad yelled that I was ungrateful, that I was walking away from everything they'd built for me. "I built it," I reminded him. "Every overtime, every late-night call, every mess you dumped on me because you couldn't be bothered. You only ever liked me when I shut up and worked myself sick." I grabbed Lily's coat, tucked the broken horse into her bag, and left. No dramatic door slam, no "you'll regret this" speech. Just freedom. Lily fell asleep in the car before we even hit downtown. Pressed against the window, clutching the stuffed bunny Daniel had slipped into her arms upstairs. She wasn't crying anymore. Her face showed something worse. That stunned, hollow quiet when something important inside a kid gets broken and they don't know how to put it back. I hated them for doing that to her. At home, I carried her straight to bed, shoes and all. She didn't wake up. I sat on the edge of her mattress and thought about how long I'd let this go on. I could have left years ago. Should have. But family kept me hooked, as if that word alone meant anything. It doesn't. Not if humiliation is part of the package, that much I know now. That same night, I sent my resignation through our online HR system. No drama, no soul-bearing monologue. Just facts I wrote that I would no longer be working for them, that I was not their backup landing strip, that the midnight WhatsApp messages, emergency cleanups, and constant covering for their negligence were over. Hit send. Waited for the explosion. Nothing. For the first few days, it was dead quiet. No reply at all, like they'd decided to ignore it and hope it blew over. A week later, my mom texted me as if nothing had happened. "Did Lily like the horse?" she asked. "It was just a joke, you know. I didn't mean anything bad." I didn't answer. My silence must have infuriated them, because my dad messaged next. "You're overreacting. You'll regret this. You're not thinking clearly." Sure. My head had never been clearer. January slid by in this strange, echoey calm. Lily started asking harder questions. "Mom," she said one night, curling up next to me on the couch, "did Grandma and Grandpa forget about me?" "Why do you think that?" I asked. "Because if they remembered, they wouldn't laugh when I'm sad." Right between the ribs. "They didn't forget," I said slowly. "But some adults only know how to love the version of a person that makes them feel in charge. Kids like you, with big hearts and quiet voices, don't show off enough. People like that just don't see you properly when what they really care about is control." She didn't fully understand, but she nodded. Then she asked if she could have a pink music jewelry box with a ballerina, the same kind her cousins had gotten from Grandma and Grandpa for New Year's. I bought it the next morning. Told her it was from Grandma and Grandpa. I couldn't keep watching her feel not worthy of real presents because of two bitter adults. By early February, my own company, I called it New Course, was standing on its own legs. Monday morning meetings at 9 a.m., people were calling us first. Even a few last names I recognized from my parents' circles started reaching out. Our investor, Natalie, turned out to be more than a wallet. She actually believed in the idea of building something honest and sustainable. Introduced me to two former execs who wanted to collaborate, warned me to double-check their contracts for non-compete clauses. Within 3 weeks, we had a small office in a downtown business center, a name and logo from a local designer, and 3 people on the team, all folks who'd left my parents' company, Vector, over the years because they were sick of the toxicity. By mid-January, the first 5 clients had signed contracts. By early February, we were up to 10. 2 of them were long-term clients of my parents. I hadn't poached anyone. I didn't call, didn't whisper. They came themselves, signed letters of intent. One of them told me, "I always figured you were the one holding that place together, and the bookkeeping over there was a mess unless you stepped in." Around that time, my phone went oddly silent in one specific direction. No messages from Melissa. No guilt essays from my mom. No snide comments from my dad. But I did notice something else. Melissa's Instagram started to shift. At first, it was the usual breakfast shots, my perfect boys, cute filters. Then came the dramatic quotes about betrayal, family loyalty, snakes disguised as relatives. Subtlety has never been her gift. Russian, auto-generated. Rodi. Then, on a Tuesday, a white envelope showed up in my mailbox, thick, with a gold border. No return address, but I recognized the handwriting immediately. Inside, an invitation to a family dinner at my parents' house, only the closest. February 10th. Nothing formal, just sit and talk. No apology, no mention of New Year's, just warm, fake language about family and coming back together. I stared at it for a long time, not because I was tempted, Because I finally understood. They didn't miss me. They needed me. The envelope sat on the kitchen table for days near Lily's crayons, and a half-eaten apple I walked past it, pretending not to care. I did care, but not about them changing. I knew they wouldn't. I was curious about their next move, Daniel called. He got the same invite. Said he wasn't planning to go, but then something strange happened. Someone from my parents' office let it slip that their oldest, most reliable client had quietly canceled a contract 2 weeks ago. No drama, no announcement, just gone. Funny thing, Daniel added. That same client called you last Friday, didn't he? He had. I'll think about it, I told my brother. Then, without telling anyone, I went. February 10th. Half an hour crawling through traffic to their side of town. The street outside their house was cold, windy, and quieter than I remembered. I walked in through the front door, the way I used to, back when I still played their game. My mom's face was a mix of surprise and calculation, dressed like she was expecting investors, not her daughter. My dad was already at the dining table, reclined in his chair with a glass of brandy, trying to project, "Nothing to see here, just a normal Sunday." Melissa saw me and visibly winced I hadn't brought Lily. I wasn't bringing her anywhere near that house again. Nobody asked where she was. My mom threw in a passive-aggressive line later about how I was depriving them of their granddaughter. But that was it. We made small talk for about 30 minutes. My dad rambled about the market slipping, competition getting more aggressive, things used to be easier. My mom bragged that her friends still came to her for advice. Melissa scrolled through photos of her boys, pretending her marriage wasn't falling apart. Then my dad cleared his throat, shifted gears. "We've been thinking," he said. "We understand now how much you contribute. We want to fix things. Really fix them." He looked me straight in the eye. "I'm offering you a partnership, equal shares, full control. Just come back." My mom jumped on the emotional angle. "They missed Lily. Family isn't perfect, but they're trying. Yes, mistakes were made, but they're willing to change." Melissa sat there with a sour face, clearly expecting me to beg for this honor. She waited a long time. "I have a question," I said finally. "Why now? After all these years of insults, ignoring me, treating me like hired help, why this moment?" My dad started talking about time healing all wounds. My mom said something about spiritual renewal. So I gave them the real answer. "Because your biggest clients are leaving," I said. "Because Alex Carter, your head of project management, joined my team last week, and you barely noticed because your reputation is tanking and you think I'm your life raft." Melissa snorted, splashing her wine. "You're delusional," she muttered. I pulled out my own envelope. Same size, same gold border. Pushed it across the table to my dad. He opened it, expecting a signed agreement to crawl back. Instead, it was an offer. A buyout of their shares in Vector, based on an independent valuation. No tricks, just a clean exit. Enough for them to retire and save face by calling it a planned transition instead of the collapse it really was. My dad's face turned beet red. My mom went still, then sputtered, "How dare you? How dare you?" "It's a real offer," I said. "We can sit down with attorneys and talk details, just not here. Definitely not in my office where my team works." She blinked like she hadn't heard me right, then shook her head, pitying. "Aaron, what happened to you? You used to be the reasonable one," she said. I smiled. "Exactly. I started treating myself as well as I've always treated all of you, Wild, isn't it?" I left without asking for their blessing. I didn't need it. I had something better. My own life. The next few weeks were strangely peaceful. No screaming phone calls, no storms at my door. Instead, our little company kept growing. People called, clients stayed. Natalie joked that we were scaling faster than her spreadsheets. We had to rent extra space on the floor above our office, Then the whispers started to reach me. Apparently, my dad went to see their biggest client, Peter, the construction boss they'd worked with for decades, to warn him about the risks of dealing with my unstable new outfit. Peter listened, nodded, and called me the next day. "Aaron," he said, chuckling, "I've known your father for 30 years. If he's this worried about your company, you must be doing something right. Let's increase our volume." Shortly after that, I got a shaky phone call from Ellen, my parents' longtime chief accountant. The woman who had practically held their entire operation together for 20 years. "I know you and your parents aren't on good terms," she said, voice trembling. "But I have to warn you. They're getting a full IRS field audit, 3 years of returns. Charles is panicking. You know how the books were kept." I did. Under-the-table salaries, backdated contracts, creative math masquerading as accounting. The exact stuff I'd been trying to drag them away from for years. "Thanks for telling me, Ellen," I said, "but I don't work for them anymore." "I know," she sighed. "It's just a lot of years. Feels strange to watch it all fall apart like this." Saturday brought worse news. Melissa had apparently decided to go through Lily. Her homeroom teacher called me that morning. "Aaron, we had a situation yesterday," she said carefully. "Your sister showed up after school, said you'd asked her to pick Lily up. But we can't release a child without written permission. She pushed pretty hard. We had to get security involved." My blood ran cold. Adult drama is one thing. Using my kid as a pawn? No. I called my lawyer. We sent formal instructions to the school. Only I and Daniel are allowed to pick Lily up, nobody else. No exceptions. Sunday morning, Daniel came over earlier than usual, sat at my kitchen table for a long time, nursing his coffee in silence. "They had an emergency family meeting yesterday," he finally said. "Without me, obviously. I overheard." "Let me guess," I said. "Strategizing about how to put me in my place?" He snorted. "Pretty much. Dad wants to bring in some hotshot corporate attorney from New York, specialist in business wars." "And what did they decide?" I asked. "Nothing," he said. "Because while they were arguing, the IRS notice arrived. Field audit starts Monday." We looked at each other, and Daniel just started laughing. "You know that old saying about deck chairs on the Titanic?" he said. "That's them." March came without major explosions, but with lots of small revelations. Not only clients, but employees from Vector started drifting our way. Chloe from sales was first. "Your parents treat people like disposable parts," she said. "You don't. I'd rather work where I'm not afraid to breathe." Then Mike, their old-school logistics guy. "I'm not a kid anymore," he muttered. "But I'm done working in chaos, and Charles has turned that office into a circus." By the end of March, our staff had grown to 15. We rented another office upstairs. The most unexpected phone call came that last week of March. It was Eric, Melissa's husband. "Sorry to bother you," he said, sounding exhausted. "Can we talk? Without Melissa. Off the record." We met at a coffee shop downtown. He looked like he hadn't slept in a month. Stirred his coffee so long the spoon must have memorized the mug. "We're getting divorced," he said finally. "I can't do it anymore. New Year's was the last straw." He told me Melissa had been telling the boys I'm the bad aunt who wants to destroy the family. Connor cries at night now, terrified that Grandpa will go bankrupt and they'll end up on the street. "I'm sorry," I told him. "Don't." He waved it off. "This is on me. I stayed quiet too long. But the worst part? She doesn't even see she's doing to the kids exactly what your parents did to you. Same poison, new packaging." He was planning to move to another city, start over. The court would probably leave the kids with Melissa. He'd get weekends. "Take care of Lily," he said as we parted. "She's a gem. You did the right thing getting out. I'm just late to the party. April started with yet another surprise. Ellen showed up at our office in person, dressed for battle. Big tote bag full of files. I'm quitting, she said. No small talk. Can't do it anymore. The audit had unearthed a mess. The fines were going to be huge, and Charles was trying to pin everything on her. I worked for them 30 years, she said. Now suddenly, I'm the scapegoat. I offered her the job of chief accountant at New Course on the spot. She almost cried. You'd really take me? I'm not exactly young anymore. Ellen, I said, you've been holding their business together alone. Of course I'll take you. With Ellen came something we hadn't even expected. They're good clients. Turns out a lot of people had stuck with my parents purely because of her. The one who remembered every birthday, found compromises, actually cared. When she moved, they started calling us. By mid-April, my dad called me for the first time in 2 months. He sounded old. Aaron, we need to talk, he said. Seriously, no emotions, just business. Okay, I said. Come by with Mom tomorrow at 3. I'll have a conference room booked. Thank you. He exhaled and hung up. They showed up together. No Melissa. According to my mom, she was busy with the divorce. They both looked rough. My dad had lost weight. My mom kept twisting a tissue in her hands. We sat down. My dad pulled out a folder and set it in front of me. We're ready to sell, he said. All of it. The IRS had hit them with penalties they couldn't pay. Clients were leaving. Ellen was gone. They'd backed themselves into a corner. My mom stared out the window for a while, then said quietly, We thought we were building an empire. Turns out it was a house of cards. You were right. I read the documents. The offer was straightforward. Sale of their shares at market value. No hidden conditions. But once you factored in debts and penalties, the price was almost symbolic. I'll think about it, I said. You'll have my answer in a week. My dad nodded, gathered the papers. At the door, my mom turned. Aaron. Lily. Could I at least see her sometimes? She asked. I know I haven't earned it, but still. That's up to Lily, I said honestly. If she wants to. That evening, I sat with Daniel and Ellen at my kitchen table, papers spread out. Why do you need their problems? Daniel asked. Our thing is doing fine. Ellen surprised us both by defending the idea, maybe you should, she said. Not for them, for the people still there, the ones who didn't do anything wrong. And honestly, that client list is worth saving. 3 days later, Peter called. I heard about your parents, he said. If you decide to buy, I'll loan you the money at 3%. Not charity, just a good investment in a reliable partner. You've proved you know what you're doing. Vector used to be a good firm. Shame to watch it die like this. In May, we closed the deal. I bought Vector. I didn't keep the name. We folded both companies into New Course. My parents got enough to pay off their debts and start a modest retirement. At the signing, my dad unexpectedly reached across the table and shook my hand. Thank you, he said. I know you're not doing this for us, but thank you anyway. My mom cried quietly, trying to hide it. Before she left, she handed me a small envelope. This is for Lily, she said, from Grandma. Just a birthday card, if you'll allow it. At home that night, I showed Lily the card. She studied it for a long time. Is Grandma not mean anymore? She asked. I don't know, honey, I answered. People change in different ways, but she's thinking about you. Maybe someday we'll visit them. When you're older, we'll see. June brought Lily's elementary school graduation. She stood on stage in a white dress, reading a poem into the microphone with that serious little face of hers. In the audience, me, Daniel, Megan from our office, and Ellen, who'd basically become a bonus grandma to Lily. And at the very back, by the exit, stood two older people my mom had her phone out filming. My dad just watched. They didn't come over, didn't make a scene, just stood, watched their granddaughter, and slipped away quietly, Lily noticed. "Mom," she whispered later, tugging my sleeve. "That was Grandma and Grandpa, right?" "Yeah, sweetheart." "Why didn't they come say hi?" "Maybe they didn't want to distract from your day," I said. She thought about that, then waved vaguely in the direction of the door. But they were already gone. That night, when I was tucking her in, she said, "Mom, you know what? Our family is small, but it's real. That's better than a big one where everybody's pretending." I kissed the top of her head. "Who taught you to be so wise?" I asked. "Uncle Daniel," she said. "He told me you don't need $100 if you've got a bunch of good friends. We don't have 100, but the ones we do have are awesome." She wasn't wrong. We didn't have 100 friends, but the ones we had were real, and our family, small as it was ours. There was a note from Daniel waiting on the kitchen table when I came out. "Remember how we used to dream about our own company when we were kids?" he'd written. "Where everything's fair and people are treated right? Look around." We actually did it. Mom and Dad sowed the wind and reaped the storm. We sowed something else. Let's see what kind of harvest we get. He was right. We had planted something good, in the shape of a growing business, a loyal team, and, most importantly, a happy kid who knows she's loved just for being herself, not for what she brings to the table. My late grandma used to say, "Don't go looking for better when things are already good." Turns out, she was wrong about that. Sometimes you do have to walk away from the familiar good to find the real thing. The kind without strings, without manipulation, without broken plastic horses and public humiliation. We found it. We built it ourselves. So what do you think? Did I go too far or not far enough? Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more.